Hello everybody and welcome back to the second shelf and to the first tag of 2021, 2022. We are still getting used to it. Anyway, I was tagged in 2021, so last year, but it's still the first tag of 2022. And I called it the Nosy tag because that is fast, a shorter title, but it's actually the 26 random questions tag created by David Murphy, and I was tagged last year by Sean the Book Maniac, and you will find links to their respective channels, of course, down below. So, but I call it the Nosy tag because it has 26 really nosy questions. And I'm trying something new. I try to, have the questions on my phone. So how about that? 2022 is exciting, isn't it? So the first question is, what was your most recent YouTube rabbit hole? And I think that might come as no surprise because it was the end of last year, beginning of this year, and I'm, a planner. You can't find a more list-making, planning obsessed person than I am. And so, of course, I, went down the rabbit hole of all the planner videos and what kind of planners are out there. No, I don't use a Hobonichi. That doesn't work for me, but I still like to watch people using it and how they, how they utilize a planner. And then I just go back to what I always do. I just use a Leuchtturm. That is, by the way, a present from Doris with her Christmas present. So I use a yellow Leuchtturm this year for my book journal, so the bullet journal, and I have all kinds of other journals. So yes, that was the last rabbit hole I went down. What song is currently stuck in your head? What's it called? Bad Habit by Ed Sheeran. Horrible. I even woke up at night having the song in my head because it's played on the radio so often. It's a good song, don't get me wrong. But when it's stuck in your head, even when you read or when you cook, I mean, not that I cook that often, but it gets really obnoxious. And that I already referred in a way to the answer to the next question. What kind of music do you listen to the most? And I just listen to the radio. That's a radio station here in Cologne. And that is very little talk and just, pop music. That's what I can have on when I work. I don't like complete silence unless I'm really have to concentrate on something when I'm, writing, then it has to be silent. But when I do the normal chores that you do when you work, read boring documents, answer emails, plan meetings, that kind of thing, it helps me overcome the boredom of that kind of work when I listen to music, but the music has to be something that I don't have to listen to intently. So, it's not like opera or any kind of classical music that you sit down and listen to with intent. That doesn't work. So I just listen to the radio, and hence Bad Habit is stuck in my head. Thank you very much, WDR 2, which is the radio station. Anyway. Question number 4. What is something you need to get better at? That must be a trick question because I'm just brilliant at everything I do, so I don't need to get better at anything. No, seriously. But I don't think it's helpful if you list for yourself all the things that you are not really good at. Like for me, for instance, just something mundane, cooking. I'm not good at it, but I can really live with that. It's not something that bugs me that I think I have to get better at. And maybe the one thing that I always try to get better at, and it's not working, is saying no. I just say yes to things way too often in terms of, can you just do that until tomorrow? Sure, no problem. Can we, so that if you want to have an answer, then it's saying yes, but learning to say no. But all the other things that I'm not good at, gardening, I have a horrible handwriting, I can't cook, I don't work out enough, I don't go out enough. Yeah, I'm too old for this shit to really bother me. Question number 5. Do you have goals? What is this? I can't read this. Do you set goals? What are your goals? Yes. I already said I'm an obsessive list maker, so of course I set goals, especially, for reading, because of BookTube and because I like it. I only set goals when I like to set them. There's this wonderful video by Gina from Gina Stania. The best goal is no goal. And if you are pressured by goal setting, you shouldn't do it. But I just love it. It gives me structure. It gives me something to hold on to. And it's like with the list. Once I put stuff that I have to do on the list, it doesn't bother me as much that I have to do it, and I'm not constantly thinking about what I have to do. And that's the same with goals. And I like to set myself goals in areas that I'm enjoying, like reading or BookTube. But I'm not gonna set myself goals, that really feel like undue pressure. Like I want to write a bestseller each year. First of all, that's not a goal because you can't really influence it. Whether I can say I want to finish a book this year, finish to write a book this year, because I can control that. But I certainly can't control whether the book will sell. So most of the goals that people have are just not. They're very frustrating because you can't really achieve them without any outside external circumstance that will help you. So that's also not helpful. Number 6, when was the last time you lost your temper? Oh, you know me. I'm an extremely even-tempered person. Not. But so I guess the last time I lost my temper, or most of the times that I lose my temper, is just by myself. I tend not to lose my temper easily with people. I had a shorter fuse when I was younger, but now the friends that I have, we've known each other for 20 years. I'm not losing my temper with them. And in a work environment, I again feel that it's not productive to scream at somebody because she didn't do the memo right. But when I'm by myself and I do something stupid, like last week, I just, some glass bowl just fell out of my hand and shattered on the floor, and then I hurt my finger when picking up. I lose my temper then. And yes, I curse, but we get to that question later on, I think. Yeah. Do you swear too much? I wouldn't say too much. I swear an appropriate amount, like when I break a glass bowl and then cut my finger with, the pieces of glass. Then I curse. And then it depends on the mood in which language, whether it's German or English or Dutch. Something. I wouldn't say too much. I try not to curse in public because I think it's rude when you are, I don't know, in the subway and something breaks or falls down and I start to, use the F word. I just think it's rude for other people. I don't have any children, so I don't need to be careful not to use curse words in front of young children. But when I'm by myself, I feel there is nothing wrong with a good curse. Yes. What is the worst book? Oh, no, sorry. Number 8. Do you spend too much money on shoes? No. I used to. I would say because I would buy shoes that I thought were beautiful, but already knew when I bought them that I will probably never wear them because they hurt my feet and they pinch, and I don't like that. But again, too old for this shit. So I'm not buying shoes that are not wearable for me. So I'm not buying too many shoes. In fact, I really need to buy new shoes because the shoes that I'm wearing the most are so kind of red sneakers. And I bought them maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and they have tears in them on the bottom. So my feet get wet, so I need to buy new ones. Question number 9. What is the worst book you have ever read? Well, I would say the worst book within the last 20 years, maybe. I've been a reader for quite a long time. So yeah, I'm going to stick to the last 20 years, 25 years. And without any doubt, the worst book that I read within the last 2 decades is John Boyne, The Boy in the Striped Pajama, which was published, I think, 2005, 2006, something like that. It's about Auschwitz and a boy inside the concentration camp and the son of the guardian of the concentration camp. And it's Holocaust porn. It's horrible. It's badly done. The jokes don't work because they only work in English, but we are talking about the German language in here. So it's really badly done, but it's the kind of use of the Holocaust for a tear-jerking, like I said, Holocaust porn in the worst way possible. So I don't think it's been a long time that a book angered me that much, and I vowed that and that happened never. I vowed that I would never ever read a book by John Boyne ever again. And then he was nominated for the BookTube Prize, and I had to read him. And unfortunately, he won. Fortunately, I thought the book was crap. So, and I'm not going to read him again, not even forcefully. If I am in the BookTube Prize, I probably resign as a judge. But that book was the worst ever. Yeah. Question number 10. Are you a homebody or are you more adventurous? I'm adventurous intellectually in my mind, but if you look at what I do like to do, I'm a homebody. I like to sit at home and read. I like to meet a couple of good friends. I'm not good in big crowds. I don't like big parties, even though I used to organize them when I was younger. We will not get into that. But yeah, I think the adventures that I have mainly are in my head. The books that I read and the things that I think about, I would call adventurous. Question number 11. Do you take naps? Another trick question. Of course I take naps if it's possible. If you work from home like I do at the moment exclusively, and when I write, I work from home anyway, so my paying jobs are part-time. And if it's possible, I think a good siesta after lunch is very healthy. Look at the Italian people. They're all 100 years old because they eat olive oil and take siestas. Yes, of course. Question number 12. Have you ever been to Minnesota? No, David, I'm very sorry. I have been to a couple of states in the US, but not to Minnesota. But if it's worthwhile, tell me about it. 13. Have you ever tried to emulate somebody? For sure. When I was starting out as a writer, I tried to write like, I don't know, Simone de Beauvoir or Susan Sontag or Mary McCarthy. I tried to sort of emulate, copy their style because I loved their writing and I loved their personality. But I think that's normal. If you look at writers, most of them, authors, will tell you that they start out by copying people, by trying to emulate people. And that's how you learn how to write. And that's how you learn how to become, your own a coming of age as you were, finding your own voice, even though I hate that expression. But yes, but not anymore. What is 14? What is the worst food you've ever eaten? I'm very easy with food. You might not, you might not have guessed, but I'm really easy. I eat almost anything. But there are limits. And the food that I really thought was disgusting was when I was in South Africa. And no, I ate the beetles and the worms because, you have to try out new things. But there was a sort of food, a dish. I will leave a picture up here. And it's called literally garbage, afval. And it's intestines. And I just don't like intestines. Not so much the idea, but the texture of intestines. Yeah. So that was bad. Afval was bad. It's not called garbage for nothing, but it's a very popular dish in South Africa. Question number 15. Do you enjoy bars? What kind? Are you, or have you been a regular? Like I said, homebody. I used to go out with girlfriends to have a drink, and we would mostly go to gay bars when we were young because nobody was interested in you there, so you could just have a drink and talk. I liked cocktail bars because I really enjoy cocktails. That's the one food that I can actually make, and I'm quite good at it. So if you ever hear, I will make cocktails for you. But now I don't frequent bars anymore, I have to say. Question 16. Have you ever been hungover? No. And before you think, oh, one of those people who doesn't drink and who is, kind of a goody good. No. I have a condition, a sugar deficiency, and not diabetes, but the opposite. So I have a low blood sugar quite easily. When I eat sugar, for instance, it drops, and that makes me really, giddy. And one of the side effects of this condition is that you can't really process alcohol very well. So I can drink and I can hold my liquor, but I have to stop at a certain point, and that point is before I'm drunk. Because if I'm over that point, the only thing that will happen is that I will get sick, and really quickly. So I could never drink as much to be really drunk and then to be hungover. So unfortunately. Question number, where are we? Question number 17. When was the last time you laughed out loud while reading? Last week. Yes, I read Sylvia Townsend Warner's book, Lolly Willows. I talked about it in my Friday Reads, by the way. And that book is just hilarious. It's so snarky. And there were many, many times in that book that I chuckled or laughed out loud at some snarky remark. It's wonderful. Again, if you haven't read it, give it a try. Number 18. How would you label or describe yourself politically? I'm a radical feminist. A radical left-wing feminist, and that means that I think patriarchy sucks and we have to get rid of it, and not by just changing the law a little bit, but by really changing politics and the system fundamentally. Radical means to the root in Latin, so it's not a bad word, actually. It's considered a bad word if you are radical. If somebody calls you a radical, they think it's a curse word, but it's actually just meaning going to the root. So I want to root out patriarchy, and I'm left-leaning in all other aspects of politics, very left-leaning. So unsubscribe if you're not happy with that. Question number 19. What was the last movie you watched? Stowaway. It's a sci-fi movie about what's his name again? Oh dear. I wrote that down. Joe Penna, yeah, the Brazilian director, Joe Penna. And I quite liked his movie Arctic, maybe 2-3 years ago. But Stowaway was just a dud. It was incredibly boring and predictable. Again, sci-fi about a mission to Mars. I should finish my sentences. About a mission to Mars. And there was a stowaway accidentally, somebody who accidentally passed out while repairing something before takeoff. And he was in the air, how is it called? In the space shuttle, in the spaceship. Yeah, it was really boring. What else? It's not really working that well with the phone, is it? Question 20. Do you want kids? Do you wish you had kids? If you have kids, give a piece of advice. No, I don't have kids. I never wanted them. I don't regret to make this decision. I like kids, other people's kids. I'm not a person who is like getting all teared up when she sees a baby. But I'm not, it's not that I hate kids and that's why I didn't want them, but it was just nothing that I really saw myself having. Question number 21. Do you get along with your siblings? I don't have any. Question 22. What is a book you have serious issues with but love? Well, I would say a past book I go for, and that is without any doubt, again, the worst book without any doubt, and this one is Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell, because I absolutely loved that book when I was young. When I was in my early teens, I read this book, even though it's a 1,000-page tome, at least 10 or 20 times. I watched the movie, even though the movie is really long, like 4 hours, certainly also 10 times. I just loved it, absolutely loved it. And I was too uneducated and unaware of the fact how racist it was. It just didn't occur to me at all. And I feel bad for my younger self, but I can't undo the fact that I love this book. I really loved it. So you can't unlove something, in the past. So there you go. I loved it. Question number 23. What is your favorite theme song to a movie and or TV show? That would be Glitter and Gold by, or the latest one. Not my all-time favorite, but the latest one, which is already a couple of, 2 years or something. Glitter and Gold by Barnes Courtney. I will leave a picture of him up here. And the TV series was Safe Picture, which was a complete dud. It was a series, I think a Netflix original series, 6 episodes or something, about a missing girl. And, it was boring, which is the worst thing for a crime series to be. It was just boring. But this theme song was fantastic. And I didn't know Barnes Courtney before, but since then, I'm a huge fan. Do you like your job? If you switched careers, what would you do? Well, I'm at the end of my career. I'm 61. So what I've been the longest is a lawyer. And no, I didn't enjoy it. It was something that I thought would be good, but it wasn't. And I stayed with it for far too long, which made me really, really unhappy. And I changed my job when I was 50 to become a writer. Writing is my main occupation, but it doesn't pay the bills. So I still have to, quote unquote, have jobs that pay the bills. And I have 2. I'm a professor, a law professor in a university in Holland. And I'm also a commissioner with the Dutch National Human Rights Institute. Yeah, like I said, I want to buy books. I want to not buy shoes anymore, but I need to buy a new pair of shoes. Yeah, so the job that I really didn't like and that made me unhappy, I changed after 25 years when I was 50. Question number 25. What is something you love about the city you live in? I live in Cologne now, mainly, which is a really, really ugly city, but I love the people. The people here in that area, the Rhine area, they are really not necessarily always friendly, but they like good food, they like to drink, they like to, they appreciate the good things of life, and I really like that. Who is your celebrity crush? Last question. Well, I'm really into rugby, and my favorite team, of course, the All Blacks, the New Zealand rugby team, and I think at the moment the one that if I had a crush, I mean, I'm not at the age anymore that you have celebrity crushes, but it would probably be Aaron Smith, because he's really, he has this really friendly air around him, and he's good looking. So there you go. Tagging people. Yes, I'm going to tag 4 people. That's Leo first, from Leo Bancroft, because I just discovered your channel, Leo, and I subscribed, and I think you're fabulous, so I'm tagging you. And then there are 3 ladies who returned to BookTube recently. I don't know whether any of them does tags. Kathleen from Kathleen Ann, Louise from A Big Head Bookworm, and Kendra, of course, from Kendra Winchester, but they all returned. So at least I want to give it a try. Maybe they are interested in doing this tag. And I will shut up now because this video is already way too long. Anyway, this was the Nosy tag, the 26 random question tag by David Murphy. Thank you again, David, for creating this tag. And Sean, thank you for tagging me. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, I'm looking forward to your comments, and I'll see you all soon in the next one.